let me help you not waste your money on makeup that's just not worth it, and let me put you on to some amazing products. So we're going to talk about it all today. I'm going to tell you my thoughts. Let's start off though with something that I wasted my money on. I most definitely wasted $52 $52 on this Laura Mercier translucent pressed powder. But I was so curious. I'm an oily girl, okay? I get oily. Oily, not combo oily, not oily in the T-zone, not oily when it's hot outside, oily all the time. So for that reason, I always want to buy powders. I'm intrigued, always want to try them. And it's not that this product is trash. It sets things fine, like it's pretty. But the thing is, it's not better than my $7 NYX powder. In fact, I get oily faster with this powder. So I'm always curious when there's a new powder, especially one that claims to like mattify, set things in place, like oil absorb for 16 hours. And this just doesn't do it. When I first put it on, it looks good. It looks pretty. I don't have any complaints there, but it's not long wear. And for $52, no. I kind of wasted my money. I'll keep using it. Like I said, it's just, you know, NYX is better. So why I could have bought 5, 6 NYX for the price of this. Now, something I did not waste my money on are these new glowy Rare Beauty blushes. These are so pretty. Now, I did buy these. I bought the Laura Mercier powder. As we go today, some of these things I bought, some of these things were sent to me, but the opinions are all my own. You know, let's talk about these Rare Beauty blushes though. These are powder blushes. That is what they are termed, like glowy powder blushers. In my opinion, these are blush toppers. I think they're a little too glowy in your face to be a blush for the type of look I go for. If you go for that, more is more. I'm all for it. You do you. I'll be here cheering you on. I use these as a blush topper. So if I'm doing a matte blush, go in with one of these babies, Beautiful, or a liquid blush and maybe like set it on top with these when you want that extra glow. I've done just these and no highlighter. I've done these as blush topper and added highlighter on top. You do what you want to do, but I love these. There's no glitter. I have the shade Joy, I have the shade Cheer. When I put these on, I don't see any glitter or anything like that on my face. They're just very glowy. Think the Bare Minerals, oh, what do they call them? Like Gin Nude highlighting blushes or something. Think that, but more intense, like more. That's these. And I love those from Bare Minerals. So when I was like, more, why not? Honestly, I could probably do all shades. I just picked one. This one's like very light pinky, the shade Cheer, and Joy is more like that, like warm peachy shade. So I love both of these, like new fave. Let's talk about a couple of products that I bought from Juvia's Place because I definitely regret buying this Ready Set Sealed Setting Spray. I was so excited. I saw this at Ulta. I'm like, yes, I bought it. I sprayed it and it smells so floral. Not it. It smells so floral. It's supposed to set the makeup, kind of lock everything into place, give you a beautiful finish to your look. You know, everything a setting spray is supposed to do, like a kind of satin matte finish. Not really mattify, but not make you dewy, just kind of like that satin finish. And it just smells so bad that I don't want to use it. And I forced myself to use it several times to see, like, okay, the smell bothers me, but I'm here for y'all too. Like, I'm not just here for me, I'm here for y'all. So I wanted to say, you know, like, this is an amazing setting spray if it is, but I don't like the scent. But I don't even think it's anything special in terms of a setting spray. Like, I don't think it did anything extra. It didn't do anything notable. So for me, I'm sad I bought this one. Now, a setting spray that I'm loving is this one from Too Faced. This is the Makeup Insurance 18-Hour Wear Long Wear Setting Spray. When I showed this in a haul, I saw several of y'all comment that this is your holy grail setting spray, that you love it so much. And guess what? I love it too. I love it too. I actually have been on 2 trips since that haul. I went to Dallas, I went to New Orleans. This is the setting spray I brought with me both times. This is a like makeup extender wear setting spray. That didn't make sense. It's supposed to extend the wear of your makeup. It has a fine mister. There is a very light fragrance. It almost smells like high-end skincare, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't know, maybe a little botanical, but then it's gone. It doesn't linger like the Juvia's Place scent, and it's not that offensive floral scent. I just really love this. I keep using this. I already know, like, when this is gone, I'm gonna buy it again. I hope this isn't gonna be gone for a while though, because like, it's a big bottle, but I really, really like this. Juvia's Place I Am Magic Radiance Booster. This is a very glowy product. It's one of those products that you can use under makeup, you can use kind of on top of makeup, you can use it on its own. It's supposed to give you like glowy skin with a light coverage. Now, I would definitely say, if I'm comparing this to the Charlotte Tilbury, it has way more coverage than that. It's not quite as lit from within luminous looking as the Charlotte Tilbury, and I would say this has more coverage than the e.l.f. Halo Glow. So this, I definitely think if you are somebody who likes to glow, you could wear this with just a tiny bit of concealer and powder, and you could have like this luminous, lit, like sheer light coverage type of look going on. How I have used this is underneath makeup. If I'm looking at all these types of products, I would still say like my favorite is the Charlotte Tilbury, next is the Auric Glow Lust, and then after that would be the e.l.f. Halo Glow. So this isn't gonna beat out like my top 3. I've tried a lot of products like this. I do like this one better than I like the Catrice version of this. So I like it. I'll keep using it. If I'm going to be doing a day where I'm not doing any foundation on top, it's gonna be the Charlotte Tilbury or the Auric, or maybe the e.l.f. So it's not bad, it's just not the fave. Like, it's good, it's just not great for me. Let's talk about these new Sigma brushes. I have used these, washed these, used these, washed these. I've been using Sigma for years. I love Sigma. Hello, I have a favorite set with them, but I wanted to try out their new shapes, and I have to say I think these are some of the best face brushes Sigma has ever done. This brush right here, the F11, I love using for bronzer. I've used it for cream products, liquid products. It is the soft sculpt brush, and I really do enjoy it for that. I have the F08 Precision Powder. I like this brush a lot for creams and liquids, for kind of like pressing in like concealer under the eyes, or if I'm not doing a concealer situation and I'm just doing a skin tint. I really like this for kind of all over with the skin tint. This is the F43 Soft Angled Cheek. I really like this for cream blushes, cream bronzers, but it's also really beautiful with powder as well. F48 Soft Coverage Brush. This is the brush that I used to put on my foundation today and yesterday. I like just pressing it in. And then the concealer brush, the Soft Angled Concealer F72, I love. If you watched my concealer video, the top 10 longwear concealers, you will see that I use this brush a ton in that video. It's so good, and I am somebody who likes to wash my brushes. I think dirty brushes can just ruin your makeup. I don't necessarily enjoy washing them as much as I know I need and enjoy having them clean. So I have washed these. They've been holding up great. The shapes are great. I really enjoy using these. Speaking of that concealer video, I love this new Say Concealer. What's so pretty about this is it is a true medium coverage skin-like finish concealer that wears all day. And when I say all day, I'm not talking about just 8 hours. I'm talking about longer than that, because I wear my makeup all day. This is the concealer I have on today. I've been wearing this concealer a lot lately, like non-stop, because I think it's so beautiful. I love a good true medium coverage, and this has been doing it for me. This has been doing it for me. Sometimes it's hard to find a skin-like finish concealer with a medium coverage that isn't so hydrating or radiant that it wears away on me in like 6 hours. So I was a little skeptical of this. I was hopeful, but I was a little skeptical, and I am so pleased to say that it is one of my favorites. I tried this Say glowy product. What is it actually called? Glow Seeker Gel. This is the shade Star Glow. Beautiful glass skin. There's no coverage. There's no shimmer in this. There's some nice ingredients in there that my skin likes, like glycerin, things like that. But it's the glass skin effect. I have used this on my face. I'm actually wearing it today as like a primer underneath a more mattifying foundation. And it just, when you think of glass skin, that no shimmer, just glow, just like catches the light. It's beautiful. So I've also worn this like on my neck and shoulders, you know, to kind of catch the light because it's warm here. And I have already been wearing my tank top and shorts, and this is really pretty on the body too. I know that they have a bronzy shade, and I'm thinking I'm gonna have to pick that up for this summer. I also really like this double-ended brush. I've been so into brushes over sponges lately. It's just been what I'm reaching for. This smaller end from Say really does great at pressing in concealer. I've found that this larger end does great for like cream bronzer, cream blush. I also really like it for powder products. Like you can set the under eye. I've done like face highlighting with highlighter with this end. I've done powder bronzer, powder blush with this brush. I've washed it, used it, washed it, used it, and it's a great brush. It's a great brush. Who knew Say made such great brushes? Because I have another one that I love from them too. Like, nobody told me they made good brushes. I found where I put the box. I saved it so I remember the name. The double brush. Dual-ended brush. That wasn't hard to remember. Good thing I kept the box. Let's talk about some eyeshadow palettes because I have a lot to talk about. First of all, I want to say congratulations again to Judy, Tina, and Annette on their collaboration with Oden's Eye. These are beautiful palettes. I do have a whole video using these palettes. Judy created the Spring Dragon palette. It is so Judy. I think she did a beautiful, beautiful job on this. I, of course, love Oden's Eye eyeshadow formula, and I love seeing other creators collab with their favorite brands. I love supporting other women, so I'm just wanting to like share the love again with these. This is Annette's palette. This is Mighty Monster, again with Oden's Eye. She did a great job. It's so beautiful. I have gotten to meet Annette in person, and she's just so cool and kind, and I really hope I get to hang out with her again soon. I really enjoy her palette. I think she did such a good job. And of course we have Tina. Oh, she's upside down. Earthwood palette. This is gorgeous. I got to hang out with Tina again recently in New Orleans, and I just love her. She's such an awesome person, so fun to be around, and very like kind, considerate person. I love her artwork, of course, but her palette is stunning. I can really see all three collaborators. Like I can see their style, their whole vibe in these palettes. I think they did such a good job. And again, I love the quality of Oden's Eye, so of course I'm a fan. I will be linking to videos I have with all of these palettes in the description box in case you're like, wait, I want to see more, I want to hear more. I will put the links in the description box because I have shown all of these. But let's talk about ColourPop 1111. This is one that kind of caught me by surprise. I initially, when I saw this, kind of thought, oh, is that a cool tone palette? But it's really got cool and neutral shades, not just cool tones. I love that we have this cool yellow in here because when you're looking at shades, you know, you can have warm yellows or you can have yellows that lean more to the blue-green, making them a little more cool in tone, just like you can have pinks that are more cool in tone, purples that are more cool versus purples that are more warm, like my shirt today. You know, even in color, you can have warm and cool tones. Cool tones doesn't just mean ash gray. So this palette, I really like that we have some of these cool tones, and then we have a nice mix of neutrals too. The formula in here is the great ColourPop formula. I really enjoyed working with all of the shades, and I think they did a really, really good job with this one. Really pretty. I also bought a palette from the Twilight collection. I didn't buy the full collection. I bought the lip oils as well, one of the highlighters, but I wanted to talk about this palette because I still stand by what I said. I love the outer packaging. I hate the inner movie still. Like, I'm like, ugh, I don't know, but I get it. I get it. I get people love the movie. And the movies are good, don't get me wrong. I just wish we would have had something like this on the inside. But anyways, I like this color story. I think it's pretty. I think it's unique. I think it fits the Twilight movie. I'm more a fan of the books, so I would love to see a collection themed like that, like not so like blue filter of the movie. But I do think this was a great palette. I think the quality is really good. I've enjoyed playing with it. It's a great palette, you know. I'm pleased because I feel like ColourPop, they did good on this. I was skeptical when I first saw the palette, but temptation gave in, and I really enjoy both of these from ColourPop. Now, Cyborg Choir has become a favorite. First of all, I love Adept. Y'all know I love Adept. That is my bae. Like, I love. And Cyborg Choir, this color story is fun. Like, it's so fun to me. I love the mix of colors. It's a little crazy. It's a little wacky. I love that we have like this charcoal black in here. I love that we have this bright yellow. The mattes performed exactly the way I expect Adept mattes to perform. Blendable, easy to layer, easy to blend. I really enjoy these. We have gorgeous holographic shadows in here. We have like multi-chrome shimmer shadows, no pressed glitters. I always see questions about that when I talk about shimmer, sparkle, holochrome, all of that. Not pressed glitters, just sparkle. And I love this palette. It's a new favorite. I think they knocked it out of the park. I'm always excited to see what is Adept gonna do next because I feel like they always nail it for me. They just do. It's that brand for me. And I love the sparkle in here. I did post a video on like how to wear shimmer shadows, and I did feature this palette in several looks. So definitely check there if you want to see this in action. I just have a lot of fun with this. Again, it is new favorite status. I love Natasha Denona, I really do. So whenever she releases a palette, I'm interested. This is the Hyper Natural Face palette. And this is the only one. It's not like how she has done face palettes in the past where she's maybe come out with two versions, like a light and a deep. This is the only one. When I first saw this, I was like, no, absolutely not, absolutely not. But then the part of me that loves Natasha Denona was like, but Heather, are you really not going to buy a Natasha Denona palette? And then I saw Natasha Denona say these were new formulas, and she put it on the models, and they're models, so they sold me the products because they're gorgeous. And I'm like, I can't say no. It's not my favorite. It's really not. It's really not. This, listen, this shade right here on me is ash. I try mixing all the shades and it's fine, but like, I'm never gonna use this. And I see a lot of people say it's perfect for travel for a handful of the population. We'll clarify that. So maybe it's your perfect travel palette. It is not mine because I'm never gonna use this bronzer. It can go deep enough for me, don't get me wrong, but the tones are not the tones that I like, and I would never want to use this. I did use it as bronzer in my video, and I've tried it again since, and I don't want to use it anymore. Like, it's just not the way I like to bronze. And then if you try to just come into these two shades, you like really have to be careful with your brush. I can't imagine if you're somebody who just needs one shade and you're like trying to like make sure you don't pick up any other shades to ruin it. It's too much. These blushes are pretty. I like Natasha Denona blush and highlights, so I have no complaints. I like a pink blush. These eyeshadows are nice. I love Natasha Denona eyeshadows, but I haven't like just thought like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to use the Hyper Natural face palette. It's a good palette. It's just like, I don't love it, and I can't be like, oh, it's amazing. Like, no, I'm gonna keep it because I'm a collector and I want to be able to have this as well in my collection. I don't get rid of anything, first of all. Like, I do not get rid of things unless I just hate them. So it's staying. Let's go back to something I love, and that is the Groovy Carden palette from Ensley Rain. First of all, the vibes. The vibes of like this 70s-ish color story. I love the warmth of this palette. As somebody who has an olive, warm-leaning skin tone, I'm vibing with it. I really am, y'all. I really am. I love that Ensley Rain gave us light shades and deep shades. They did that with their Lands of Enchantment palette, and that's one of the reasons that is one of my favorite palettes in my collection. So when I saw Groovy Carden, I was like, oh, yes, yes, come to mama. I love that we have these green tones, these yellow right here, like, oh, this kind of orangey brown. I love that we have these deep shades because I love the drama. We have light shades so we can create contrast. And then we do have like our multi-chrome, sparkly duochrome, topper-esque type shades. Like, it's the vibe. When I went to LA in the beginning of March, this is the palette I took with me. This is the palette I took with me, and I enjoyed creating looks with it. I could do very simple looks. I could just put on one shadow, two shadows, be out the door, not be holding up my family, and still feel like myself, because I feel like myself the most when I'm in a sparkly eye look. Lunar Beauty Moonshroom Collection. Again, I love Lunar Beauty. They are a favorite brand for me, and they knocked it out of the park. This may be my favorite Lunar Beauty palette of all time. I don't know that anything can replace Moonspell Volume 1, but this is trying, you know? Again, for me, with my warm olive skin tone, I mean, hello, look at these green olivey shades, look at these yellowy golden shades, look at the undertones of the browns, how they have this like warmth and this saturation. I even feel like these two browns right here have this olive undertone that just make it perfect for me. I love the mix of light shades and deep shades. I love the shimmer shades in here. I think it's beautiful. I love that we have a little bit of this periwinkle. I just feel like this color story is unique and fun, and it's great quality. And while it's not an eyeshadow palette, of course I love the lip glosses in that collection, but I've already reviewed the lip glosses. I've told y'all I've been loving those for years. They are a favorite of all time lip gloss for me, but the highlighter palette I was so excited to see return. It is the highlight that I'm wearing on my face today. I did mix all of the shades. I love that we got the over-the-top extra packaging even with this highlighter palette. I love that there is a shade like that is light and deep. I mean, I kind of use all the shades. I can use this shade as like a blush topper if I want to do like a little bit of like a glowy bronze type of look, highlight look, super bright. I love this. It is that beautiful wet looking highlighter formula. I cannot say enough how in love with this I am. This GlamLite and Kiss collaboration, I really like the lip products that came with it. I think super beautiful shades, but today I'm gonna focus on the palette. I don't have my full thoughts together yet on the eyeshadow primers or the mascaras, so we'll review those at a later date. But this palette, if you are a Kiss fan, I think this is definitely for you. I mean, it's got the lenticular motion cover. It's got Kiss on the inside. Each row, I believe, is kind of like dedicated to one of the 4 members of Kiss. And there's embossings on the pan, and it has names like Kiss, Rock and Roll All Night, Love Gun, Axe. Like, it's got it all. And I like this palette. I don't love it. It's not the amazing GlamLite that we saw in Betty Boop. The Betty Boop palette, so beautiful. I think GlamLite killed it with that palette. That palette, the Ghostface palette, I'm going to say Scream, but I'm like, it's not Scream. They call it Ghostface. And the Rick and Morty palette, like, I love. This isn't a bad palette. I like the looks that I've done with this. I took this with me when I went to Dallas. This was the only palette I brought because I wanted to really test it and try it. And I've used it a couple of times since then, just on my own, playing with makeup, not filming, because yes, I wear makeup even when I'm not filming, because I just love makeup. And it's just not as good as Betty Boop. Like, what can I say? That is my thought. Now, if you love Kiss, you love this color story, you're like, I want it, it's good quality. Like, you'll be able to get some good looks. It's just not what I now expect from GlamLite. The next 3 palettes I'm going to kind of talk about together. The Makeup by Mario palettes and the Get Stoned, because I have been using these together. I want to talk about them individually, but as I pop up looks, you will probably see these 3 crossover together. Now, when Makeup by Mario first launched, he had these quads of eyeshadows, and I tried one and I hated it. I was like, you know, this is like 10 years behind in formula. It's hard pressed in the pan. I have to really add a lot to get the pigmentation to show up. It wasn't keeping up with the times. So because of that, I wasn't super interested in his palettes. But I'm curious. Because I love makeup, I'm curious, and I'm like, okay, I can't let it go by. I bought the Master Mattes, the neutrals. I also bought the Master Mattes. Now, I heard that people didn't love the Master Mattes. Like, some people did, some people didn't. And then I also heard that when he brought out this palette, he also kind of updated this formula to match, and I would agree. So I bought this when this launched. This is the Master Mattes. So this, you can see, is much more warm. Definitely has some neutral tones, but it's much more warm. So therefore, this one would be my personal favorite. And this one is not overly cool. I definitely think we have a couple of cool shades, but I do feel like this is more neutral, like not too warm, not too cool, aside from a few shades. But these blend like butter. They are not super pigmented. Like, if you're used to intense indie shadows, like, you know, Unearthly, Ensley Rain, GlamLite, it's not those types of mattes, but they are more pigmented than, say, like some other like filmed at Sephora brands, but they're very, very easy to blend, both very, very beautiful. And I like that there's a more warm version and a more neutral version, so there's kind of something for everybody. Just beautiful. Now, I don't really wear straight up matte looks very often, so for me, these, I'm usually pulling in some of my shimmer shadows, like my Adept palettes, like my Clionadh singles, things like that, like to give me that sparkle. I'm using those as mattes, like I did today with my Get Stoned palette. This palette, I told y'all, if you watched the whole video, that I tried to resist. I saw it, I wanted it, and I'm like, no, you can't buy it. Well, I caved in, okay? I caved in. I love this. I saw Angela Bright's video, and I was like, okay, say less, say less. I already wanted it, and now you just sold it to me even more. Beautiful. Like, I find myself getting so excited to reach for this palette. This is all shimmer shades, okay? There's not multi-chromes. There's one shade in here that I would say, or maybe two, that are like a duochrome, but really they are shimmers, and there's a different color reflex of shimmer in there. So like this shade right here, I think is really beautiful, called Daily Hollow. I wouldn't say this is a holographic shadow, but I would say it's this silvery purple shadow, and it does have lots of different like purple, pink, silver sparkle in there. So they're very interesting, very beautiful, very easy to work with. In all my looks, I pick up the shadow on my brush and I spray it, if it's a shimmer or a sparkle or anything like that. These are beautiful like that. I don't like using my fingers with makeup, but I tried it with this palette just so I could let y'all know that it works that way. Do what you want. This palette's just always beautiful. I love this palette so much. Anytime Get Stoned releases another palette, I'm gonna be interested because I had such a good experience. And this palette, like the packaging, everything is super luxe. Like they just really did a good job. Like they have my attention for sure. Last for eyeshadow palettes, because this is really like an eyes, lips, face palette. This is the Denona Groundwork Blooming Romance palette. This is fun. This is fun. She brought out a palette like this, Groundworks Volume 1, last year, and it was all brown. And I was like, I don't need it. I don't need just some brown neutral mattes and creams. I don't need it. So when she brought out Blooming Romance, and I was like, color? Pinks, reds, peaches, browns. Okay, I will take that. Even like mauve-y tones. And I think I'm still gonna have to pick up the neutrals one now, the Groundworks Volume 1, because I had so much fun with this. It's just something a little different in my collection. The creams in here are more like putties, and while I've worn these on the eyes, today I am wearing them on the lips and cheeks. I thought the creams or putties or whatever you want to call them are really pretty on the cheeks, definitely buildable. So I started off with a little and then built it up to get a little more color payoff for me. I think if you want to use these light shades, if you're more fair, you can do that. If you want to use these deeper shades, if your skin tone's a little deeper, or maybe you're like me and you just want to build, you can definitely do that. Now on the lips, these are too dry just for me to go straight on my lips. So I actually put this on top of a little bit of lip oil, and then I went on my lips with my Moira Superstar liner. I just really like this. I think it's fun. There is a little bit of a learning curve with these formulas. They're beautiful. I really enjoy this, and I mean, I like it so much that I'm like, okay, Denona is gonna have me buying the brown palette. I love a medium finish foundation, and this Urban Decay Face Bond Foundation is giving me matte finish, medium coverage. I love it. I wore this recently over the Juvia's Place Radiance Booster. It's beautiful. It made it a little less matte. I am wearing this today over the Say Star Glow, whatever thing. It's a little more matte. I've worn this with mattifying primers. I'm matte all day. I have worn this like 7 times now, and it has worn all day long. It is so beautiful. I love this foundation. I think this is going to be a new favorite for me. It is long wear. I said it before, I'll say it again. The applicator on this is so special. Like, it's not like a normal squeezy tube where it's like spilling out. The NARS Soft Matte Foundation that sits like this, I always have like foundation in the cap from where it kind of pours out a little over time. Never with this, never with this. It's so amazing. Urban Decay is back, baby. This is what I want to see from them. They're doing it. Milk Makeup makes products that look like they're a gimmick, like they're jelly blushes, but that are actually good. I love those like jelly blush sticks things. So when I saw their foaming primer, I was like, gotta try that. If it was a different brand, I maybe would have been like, it's too gimmicky, I'm not interested. But Milk, they make quality products, and this is a quality product. This is the Cloud Glow Primer, but it's not for me. This is a glowy primer, so it feels hydrating. It preps for makeup. It doesn't have as much stick as Hydro Grip, but it's more glowy and more hydrating in my opinion. It's thinner, but for my oily skin, I'm gonna reach for Hydro Grip over this. If I want a hydrating primer, I prefer the One Size glowy primer over this. I like this. It's not a bad primer, but I have others that I like better. Now, if you have dry skin and you want to glow, I think you will really like this. It's just not perfect for me. Ciate London sent me this bronzer. This is Aruba Island Bronzing Powder. Now, I mentioned this one in my last haul video. Definitely check that out if you like hauls. I do them every single week. And when I swatched this in my haul video, I was skeptical because I'm like, this is a very like pinky undertone. I don't think it's gonna be for me. It barely shows up. It barely shows up. I was hopeful they had more shades. They do. They do have more shades, just no deeper ones and none that will work for me. That one was a fail. I'm like, I'm not into it. I'm like, Yeah, I would say don't waste your money on that one. Salt New York is a brand I had never tried. I was not interested in at all because I always thought Salt New York is for people with dry skin. So let me tell you about these because I was gifted these and I got to hear from the owner, Kiki, and I asked her specifically, tell me how to use these for oily skin because that's why I've never tried the products. I see so many people love them, but every time I hear people talk about them, they have dry skin. I got the tips and tricks. She said use a dry sponge, use your favorite like tacky primer for long wear or your favorite mattifying primer, use a dry sponge. And she said this is not for your full coverage days. This is for glowy your skin but better. And that's exactly what it is. This is that, wait, are you wearing makeup or are you just perfect type of vibe. Now this for me is not all day wear. I'm not putting this on hoping my makeup is gonna last from the time I get up to the time I go to bed. Had to go to an event with my kid. We were gonna be gone about 6 hours and I want to look glowy, beautiful, you know, because I set this with powder so it takes some of the glow away, but I still have that very luminous, radiant look underneath for my oily skin. I know people with dry skin love this, but for me, this is going to last beautifully about 6 hours. After that, I definitely need a blot. I definitely need to touch up with powder. And I've really enjoyed this. So I have the skin tint, the concealer, the blush, the bronzer, and I have it in the travel case. I've really enjoyed this. My favorite way is with a more mattifying primer like the Denona Myricks Balm. That is my favorite way to wear it. I liked it with a sticky primer like Milk Hydro Grip, but the mattifying primer is my personal favorite way. I came home from a vacation and I immediately had something I had to go to with my son. I was gonna be there for a few hours. And I tried this and I was like, wow, it looks so healthy on the face. It's so beautiful. I'm surprised at how much I like it. They do have these single compacts if you prefer that, or like the ones for quads, or, you know, do what you want. Like I said, I'm always open to learning, you know, like teach me how to use something, I will try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I'm so happy with how great my skin looks in those. And the color of the blush, Persimmon, perfection. NARS recently reformulated their blushes and I had to pick one up to see, is it gonna be just as good as NARS? I'm not throwing out my old ones, but I wanted to pick up a new one. This is the shade, I think, 778. It's a matte peachy pink and it's beautiful. It lasts all day, just like I expect NARS to. It blends beautifully. The reformulation definitely did not make it worse, nothing like that. I also want to show you the Fenty Rich Honey Highlighter. I love this. I love this. I think it's so beautiful. It's so glowy. I don't feel like there's glitter in here. I love it. In fact, I went into my Sephora and was like, I want to buy another one, and they were out. They had like 4 left of like one shade and it was not the shade I was going for. So I will have to try my luck again on another day. I got the shade Rich Honey because I wanted a shade that would kind of sink into my skin for days that I didn't want a bright highlighter. And this just, it did it. It did it. It did it. I love it. I love this packaging. I definitely want more shades and I will, as soon as I can get my little hands on it. I didn't order online because mine came fine. It didn't come broken, but I had several friends who told me theirs came broken. So I'm like, I'd rather just buy it in store than risk it coming broken, even though mine was fine. So maybe that's an irrational fear. I don't know. I wasted my money on this Too Faced single shadow, y'all. I don't even think this is available anymore. It was like a limited edition drop, but I was curious. This is the Disco Crush eyeshadow. Too Faced was like, you know, we're gonna bring this glitter shadow. We were the first glitter shadow people. And I was like, you know what? Is Too Faced fun again? Like, yeah. I mean, it's this pretty pink to rose gold to like coppery glitter. But if you have indie makeup, you don't need this whatsoever. And if you don't have indie makeup, support an independently owned brand rather than, I think Too Faced is owned by like the Estee Lauder company. I mean, trust, I like to shop at Sephora and from big brands too, but Indie does it better. I definitely wasted my money, but hopefully it helps you save money if Too Faced does another drop like that in the future. ColourPop launched these cream blushes around Valentine's Day, and I really like this. I was nervous because I really don't like their liquid blush formula, but I love their Super Shock blush. So I thought, let me try this. This is the Lip and Cheek Balm in Adore You, and I'm so happy I bought it. I think it's so beautiful. It blends easily, and it doesn't stay sticky. It doesn't get patchy. Nothing that you don't want a cream blush to do. It's really good. This Refi mascara is gimmicky to me. There's nothing great about this. It has a curved brush. It worked okay for the top lashes. It's supposed to work good for the bottom lashes, but like my eyes aren't this long, so I kept like hitting myself on the inner part when I tried to use this. I just always end up going in with a regular mascara over this. I totally wasted my money. It was unnecessary. Just a very unnecessary, unserious product. Too Faced, I love you for these Kissing Jelly Glosses, Juicy Lip Oil Gloss Hybrids. I love the scents. These are a good lip oil lip gloss. I have on this shade today over top of the Danessa Myrix, and I love it. I said it before, I'll say it again, just like a watermelon Jolly Rancher. It's so good. I love it. And then the Kissing Jelly Gloss in Sweet Cotton Candy. No, this is the one I'm wearing on top today. This is the one I'm wearing on top today. This smells like cotton candy. I love it. I want to buy all the shades, but I'm refraining. But I think I'm going to buy all the shades. ColourPop So Juicy Lip Balm Gloss things. I like these. I think these are more thin than the version of this that Tarte has, like the Maracuja Juicy Lip, like, what do they have, like balm, lipstick, plump, all of that now. These are supposed to be plumping, and I don't really notice like a cooling effect, except for the first maybe like 2 minutes, and it's not really painful. It's just a little cooling and then it's gone. So I can't speak to the plumping, but I do think they make my lips look plumper because they're glossy and juicy and hydrated feeling. But they are not as pigmented as any of the ones that I have from Tarte, and I think I have almost all of the Tarte formulas except for the pH, because I went in. I love that formula so much. I had to get them, like so many of them. This is a more sheer version, very beautiful, and I feel like it's very thin, so it's not too thick and goopy. Smashbox Halo Palettes Halo, right? Halo Sculpt and Glow. Let me just say, I feel kind of how I did originally about these, okay? I've been testing these for a long time because I wanted to really know my thoughts. I always wish I could custom mix and match when I have palettes like this. I want to pick my own shades, but I get the appeal of why they're laid out like this, okay? So the blush formula, beautiful. The highlighter formula, beautiful. I don't care for the bronzer. I don't think the undertones are right, and I don't think they're the best formula. And this doesn't stay up. So like if I set this in front of me and I'm like dipping my brush in trying to get ready, every time it closes on me, and that's annoying. I know that's a small thing, but I pay attention to that because usually when I have something out in front of me, like my blush from NARS, whatever, I set it, I open it, and I'm like getting blush, like building it up how I want it. And for that one to constantly have to be open. It's frustrating. It's a packaging error that I really don't know how they overlooked. These Moira lip liners are so beautiful. I think these are like the ColourPop lippy pencils, except they twist up rather than you having to sharpen them. There are so many shades. They're so beautiful. I told you I was wearing one today. I told you I was wearing Superstar, but these are so nice. They're great price point. Moira, they're doing it out here. I really like those. I really like those. These About Face liners. I have 2 of these and I want more because these last in the waterline. I'm wearing this shade today. This is the Lime one, Electric Slide. I have the Deep Dark Plum one. They're beautiful. They're pigmented. I don't have to tug in my waterline. I don't have to go over and over and over and over. They just work and I'm here for it. Brow products. This is from Surratt. This is their brow pomade clear, I think. This is keeping my brows in place while not feeling crunchy. So my brows don't really fall with these, but it's not an extreme hold. This, if I'm going for like the Salt New York products, that kind of, oh, you know, like I'm just so healthy, did I wake up like this? No, it's really makeup type of vibe. That's what I'll go for. And this has a cool, like almost like toothbrush type comb. It looks white, but it does dry clear. I have dark brows, so I'm like, you cannot dry white looking crusty in my brows. That's not this. I love a strong hold though. I love a strong hold. Like, more is more when it comes to brow hold. And the ABH Brow Freeze is good, okay? It's a very strong hold. It's what I have in my brows today. This is, I don't want my brows to disobey me type of hold. If you love makeup as much as I do, please do stick around. I have so many makeup videos here on my channel. I upload new videos, multiple new videos every single week. I have been working hard to make awesome content for y'all. So definitely check out one of these videos, subscribe and stick around, hang out with me.